You know, people ask me sometimes, Walter, what's the heaviest thing a man can carry at your age? And I tell them the truth. The heaviest thing a man can carry is a quiet house. Not the peaceful kind of quiet. I'm talking about the kind where the clock ticks so loud you can hear it in the next room. The kind where the phone sits on the table and doesn't ring for weeks at a time. The kind where you catch yourself staring at the front door like maybe somebody might walk through it, but nobody does. My name is Walter James Thompson. I'm 90 years old. And for a while there, my children stopped visiting me. Now, before you get the wrong idea, let me tell you something right away. This ain't one of those stories where I sit here angry at my kids. No, sir. It's a story about something harder than anger. It's about learning to let go without turning bitter. And that took me a long time to figure out. See, I got 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. Raised them right here in this very house. I worked 42 years down at the rail yard. Long shifts, cold winters, hot summers. My hands still remember the weight of those tools. I missed ball games sometimes, missed school plays, but I made sure the lights stayed on, made sure there was food in the fridge, made sure those kids had shoes on their feet. You know the kind of life I'm talking about. The kind where a man gives his back, his knees, and every paycheck to raising a family. And I was proud of that. Still am. But time moves in a funny way. One minute you're teaching a little boy how to ride a bicycle. Next minute he's grown, living 2 states away, working a job you don't quite understand. And you sit there thinking, how did we get here so fast? Now, for a long time after my wife Lillian passed, things changed. The house got quieter. The kids were busy. Jobs, families, life moving fast. At first they still came around. Sunday dinners, holiday visits, phone calls here and there. But little by little, those visits got farther apart. First it was every month, then every few months. Then one day I noticed something that sat heavy on my chest. I couldn't remember the last time somebody knocked on my door just to see me. That realization, that one right there will sneak up on you. I remember sitting in this chair right here one evening, looking at the phone, thinking maybe I should call them. So I did. Left a voicemail. Hey baby, this is your daddy. Just checking in. Call me when you get a chance. Then I waited. You know that waiting. Checking the phone every hour. Listening for it to ring. And sometimes it did. Sometimes it didn't. And the nights when it didn't, those nights felt long. I started asking myself the same question I know a lot of folks my age ask. What did I do wrong? Maybe I worked too much. Maybe I was too strict. Maybe I didn't say I love you enough when they were little. You lay in bed thinking about those things, replaying old memories like a movie you can't turn off. But let me tell you something I had to learn the hard way. If you spend your last years judging yourself for the past, you'll miss the life that's still sitting right in front of you. And that's exactly what I was doing. One afternoon, I caught my reflection in the kitchen window. Old man staring back at me, shoulders slumped, eyes tired. And I realized something. I wasn't just missing my children. I had stopped living my own life. Everything revolved around whether they visited or not, whether the phone rang, whether somebody needed me. And that's when I decided something had to change. Now listen close here, because this part might surprise you. The first thing I did was stop chasing them. I stopped calling every week, stopped leaving messages, stopped asking when they were coming by. That doesn't mean I stopped loving them. Not at all. It just meant I stopped begging for their attention. There's a difference. Love stands tall. Begging bends you over. And I had bent myself over long enough. Now, the second thing I did was something my granddaddy used to talk about when I was a boy. He used to say, "Walter, if you want butterflies, don't chase them. Build a garden." At the time, I thought he was just talking about flowers. Turns out, he was talking about life. So I started building my garden. Not a real garden, though I did plant tomatoes out back again, but a life garden. I started doing things for myself again. Things I used to love before I got so wrapped up in being somebody's father. I dusted off my old chessboard, started going down to the park on Thursdays, met a group of old men there. Lord have mercy. Those fellas talk more trash over a chess game than teenagers on a basketball court. But we laugh. We argue. We share stories. And for a few hours every week, I feel alive again. Then I joined a little woodshop class at the community center. Hadn't used tools like that in years. First thing I built was a small table. Nothing fancy. But when I finished it, I sat there looking at that thing like it was a masterpiece. Because I had made something again. And that does something to a man's spirit. It reminds you that you still matter. You're still capable. You're still here. I also started cooking again. Real cooking. Not just heating up soup. I pulled out Lillian's old recipes. Her cornbread. Her gumbo. Her sweet potato pie. First time I tried making that pie, it came out looking like a science experiment. But the second one, that one tasted just like home. You see, when you start filling your life with things that bring you joy, the emptiness starts shrinking, little by little. Now here's the interesting part. Something unexpected happened once I stopped sitting around waiting for my children to visit. They started getting curious. My daughter called one evening. "Daddy, what you been up to?" I told her. "Oh, nothing much. Just playing chess at the park and building furniture." She got quiet. Then she said, "You've been busy." That word right there, busy, it changed the way she saw me, because I wasn't the lonely old man waiting by the window anymore. I was a man living his life, and that made them want to come see me, not out of guilt, out of curiosity, out of respect. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend everything turned perfect overnight. That's not how life works. They still don't visit every week. Sometimes months go by. But when they do come now, the energy is different. We sit around the table. They ask about my chess games, ask about the furniture I'm building, ask about the tomatoes growing out back. And suddenly I'm not just Dad who needs checking on. I'm Walter James Thompson, a man still living his story, and that feels good. But I also want to tell you something honest, something important. Sometimes, even after you build the garden, the butterflies don't come as often as you hoped. That's life. Children grow into their own worlds, their own responsibilities, their own struggles. And sometimes those worlds don't have as much space for us as we'd like. That doesn't mean they stop loving you. It just means life pulled them in another direction. If you fight that reality, it will break your heart. But if you accept it, something peaceful happens. You stop measuring your worth by who visits you. You start measuring it by how you live your days. And that right there is freedom. These days I wake up early, make my coffee, sit on the porch and watch the sun climb over the trees. Sometimes the phone rings, sometimes it doesn't. But either way, my day keeps moving, because my life no longer waits on someone else to begin. I got chess on Thursdays, wood shop on Saturdays, tomatoes growing out back, and a steak in the fridge for tonight. Now, if my kids want to come by, the door is open. Always will be. But I'm not standing in that doorway waiting anymore. I'm out back in the garden, living. And if you're sitting in a quiet house right now wondering why your children stopped visiting, let me tell you something, friend. Your story ain't over. Not even close. Stop chasing. Start living. Build your garden. And let life come find you again.